Good Tuesday morning. It's the same theme in Thessalonians. He fleshes it out a little bit. And I think you've got it, I believe, need to translate it. He thinks the end of the world is coming. Translate that. If you see his later writings, you see he knows it's not the same meaning, but you could derive it. If you look backwards and say, look, this is what it could mean. I'll show you. Concerning times and seasons, brothers and sisters, you have no need for anything to be written to you. For you yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. When people are saying peace and security, then sudden disaster comes upon them, like labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness, for that day to overtake you like a thief. For all of you are children of the light and children of the day. We are not of the night or of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as the rest do. Let us stay alert and sober. See, for the grace moment. Get it? For God did not destine us for wrath, but to gain salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, as indeed you do. You see, he's talking the end of time there, but it's easy to translate that. Be awake for the grace of the moment. Don't be indifferent. Don't be in the dark. Be awake to the grace of the moment. Here is that moment. Here is that moment of grace in your life when you choose. You choose to see in the light what life is asking of you, what providence is asking of you. This is the coming of Christ. I think that many, many relationships, especially marriages, are tainted, harmed, hurt by not by infidelity, but by lack of active fidelity, where you really continue to pursue the good of your partner, your spouse, that you are alert to the moments, rather than not against, but indifferent, where you're not aware, you don't pay attention. I mimic it. Okay, but I'm exaggerating. I always think like a male, so I'm going to say it like a man. Okay, say I don't know what she's mad at me about. I don't know. I'm good to her. You know what I mean. I bring home the paycheck. You know what I mean. I like things. I'm making fun of in many ways my own. That's the mindset in many ways of the street. Guys talking on the street. But also, I think I always pick on my own gender, okay? But, I think many a marriage is going stale because the wife, in some ways, is so involved in everything, she forgets to hear him, that he's tired when he comes home at night. Or whenever she comes home at night. You can't say it anymore, but you get my point. I remember this from my home, and I think I remember this so vividly because my father came home late. My dad was a waiter. So he wouldn't get home till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And my mother was a school teacher, which means she had to get up. But you know what? She was always there when he came home. And what I remember, they talked in the kitchen. What I remember, how often and much they talked to each other. And what I miss so much about Junie, she died 13 years ago this month, 2 weeks from now, actually, is how much we talked together. On the phone, in person, always talking. See? Yeah. That's the truth. We always talked. I remember some of the most wonderful things with Junie and I, sometimes with the kids, but sometimes not. Just Junie and I would go on the pontoon boat, okay? And we talked the whole time. She would read to me. I have to say that much. Wait a minute. I'd be lying to you. She would read to me. Whatever we read, I don't know, 80 books or something like that together. But she did most of the reading. She said I wasn't a good reader. She was right about that. What a companion. What a companion in life. What a gift, you see. A companion, somebody with whom to walk, to talk and walk this existence together, you see. But that takes energy and effort. You can't be indifferent. Take nothing for granted. As Frank Sinatra said once, marriage can ruin a great friendship. It's not because it's bad, it's because it leads to indifference. the commonality of the relationship, which is necessary for ordinariness of life. But you can't lose your sensitivity, because you'll lose the friendship in the marriage. And what that creates is loneliness. You feel alone though you're together, unheard though you're speaking but unheard. You're seeing and seen but not seen. See, that's what I think so important when I think about my parents in the kitchen. This is 10, 11 o'clock at night. I would remember I'd hear them talking. Sometimes I hear them talking in bed. See, the bedroom was next to mine. I could hear them talking. You see, I think my family held together by the spoken word. How's that for a line? Yeah, always chatting. And when my grandmother lived with us, there was always that conversation. In Italian there, of course. But it was interesting. See, via voce, by the way of the voice, by way of speaking, talking together. One is not presumptuous at that moment, because you can't speak at, you can only speak to and with. You see? It's not a talking, it's not preaching at somebody. Right? I'll say this up, I just reminded myself, even as a preacher, as a homilist, you always speak not to the wall. I remember a priest telling me one time, fellow pastor, he said, he always looks at the back wall when he preaches so he won't be distracted in his homily. I thought, I couldn't think of a more ineffective way of speaking, because you have to look into the face of the persons you're speaking to, because the homily is a conversation initiated by you but listened actively by the parishioner. How can you give the same homily twice? You've got different people in front of you. And as a pastor, you begin to learn the dynamics. When I look at some people, I know this man lost his son in a car accident 30 years ago, or something else. Whatever. How can you be indifferent to the dynamics of the persons in front of you? If you're a friend, you have to be a faithful friend. And a faithful friend cares about the friend. Hence, even the preacher has to be a friend to the parishioner. You see? An active friend. If you think of just as an abstract audience, well, one of the key things is you'll be completely ineffectual. You're just background noises, they finger their rosaries. But if you talk to them, they'll listen because they hear your voice. You're looking at them. You're saying you're sharing a thought with him. See? That's the truth. Yeah. It's a love affair of friends. Friends together. I love that as a verb. Friends together. See? Walking together. Friends actively together. Whether it's spousal or friendship, collegial, it doesn't make any difference. Friends together. You see? That takes an action on your part, a sensitivity to the other and a wanting to see the other. And see and speak to the other, to their heart, and speaking, listening. Listening. Even if the voice is silent, the look in their eyes is not. See? He always can tell as a preacher, if they're listening to you, if you say something funny, did they laugh? If they're looking at you, staring, you blew that one. You know what I mean? They didn't get that one. Okay? It's not a trick. It's what it is communion through words. Communion through words, see? And I think in marriage, it's got to be the same. There has to be a communion of words, in words and of words. In any friendship, there has to be the intimacy of a communion of hearts. That means you see each other. You speak to each other with a listening voice. Do you hear that? A listening voice. That as I speak, I am listening. That I look into your eyes. Even though we've been married 60 years, I look into your eyes and I see the beloved. I see my beloved and I speak from my heart to my beloved. Even if it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm dead tired and she's dead tired. It's the way I might just say hi and mean it, hi. As no one else could say it to her, or she to him. There is an intimacy in the hi.